Franklin's playbook is about a man that goes through circumstances and doesn't let them define him, but he defines himself through the circumstances that he goes through. Well, I got a scholarship to UCLA and to other schools, and I was really, debating where I wanted to go. Because honestly, Cal was probably my #1 school where I really, really wanted to go. And I went on a trip to UCLA, and it was me, a guy by the name of Raheem Moore, who went here with me. You had Dayton Jones, I went to Compton. You had Aaron Hester, that went to Dominguez. You had Antoine Mutra, that went to Culver City. You had Jerry Johnson, he went to Venice. Well, we had a good time, and we really looked at each other. We was like, man, what y'all want to do? We all big-time players, and wherever we go, we're going to do some great things. So we all was like, man, let's come to UCLA and let's turn this place out, take it to the top and bring some swag up in here. So we all decided to commit it on one of our trips to UCLA, and it was history from there. And it's been a blessing. At the end of my career from UCLA, we were all able to do that, take it to the top, and now it's on its way up.
They set the standard for what we're going to be as a program. There's a whole bunch of them. Jerry Johnson and Aaron, and I think even Sheldon Price, you could say that, and Dayton and Johnathan, and they won 9 games this year. They beat their crosstown rival finally, and they did it this year. And I don't know what they did in the past because I wasn't here, but this year they set a new standard. And so it's easy to point to those guys as a coach and say, this is the way we do it, like Johnathan did it. And that's a nice thing to have. Dayton and Johnathan in particular are just amazing examples of what you can accomplish if you really work hard and have the great attitude that they had.
San Bernardino changed the whole mentality of UCLA football. That's when we turned it around. We went to San Bernardino, and it's the middle of nowhere. All you can see is mountains. They take our cell phones. We went to Cal State San Bernardino. There was no kids on campus. It was just us, and it was hot. It was humid, 105 degrees daily. We probably had like 10 guys pass out, but the mentality that you gain from that, the grinds, you understand what football really means. You understand how much you love the game of football, getting away from your family, from your friends, taking all the distractions out and just playing some football. And all we had was each other. We gained that bond, and leadership stepped up, and it was player accountability. And if you didn't meet the expectations, not only was coach kicking you out, but the players was saying, this is not for you. And that changed the whole mentality of our football team.
We were looking for leaders, and so what we did is we took our team to San Bernardino, and it's not a comfortable place to be. It's hot, it's barren, there was no other people up there except us, and what you're looking for in a situation like that is who can overcome some of the obstacles that you put in front of them, and who do the other players look to in terms of a leader. And Johnathan emerged because of a couple things. Number one is he never showed any discomfort. Johnathan just was the same guy every single day. He never complained. He never changed his work ethic. He was always out front. He was always encouraging guys. He was always setting an example with his work ethic on the field, whether he was about to fall over from dehydration or not. And so the other players on the team saw that. And when your best player is your hardest worker, then you have the makings of a really great leader. And that's what Johnathan showed us at San Bernardino in a really uncomfortable situation. The Nebraska game for us was one of those games where we were going to kind of find out early in the season if the message and the things that we were trying to change or become were really happening. And it was a back and forth kind of game. It was a game we were going to have to fight to the end to win. And Johnathan, just like he did all year, showed that he just wasn't going to be denied. He was going to keep coming back, and he was going to keep making special plays. There's a tendency in football to kind of watch to see what's going on and then react. But when you're blocking for a guy like Johnathan Franklin, you need to be on it all the time. And our guys really saw that in that game, is that he's putting his hand down and he's digging for extra yardage. He looks like he's going to go out of bounds, and he cuts back in. And he's doing these amazing things. And I think that game was kind of a catalyst for who we were going to be as an offense all year. And it was set by Jonathan's example. This year we came up with a new award. It's called the Bruin Force Award. And it goes to the player as voted on by his teammates that best exemplifies the characteristics that we're looking for in a UCLA football player, both on and off the field. And Johnathan was the recipient this year, and it was an overwhelming vote. We have what we call a Bruin filter, and it's 5 characteristics that we're looking for in a player that has nothing to do with his measurables and nothing really to do with his on-the-field performance, but just character issues. Football character, which means this is a guy that loves football. Extreme toughness, a guy that's emotionally tough, physically tough, mentally tough. A guy that has team ego, that, it's not about me, it's about we. Somebody that has competitive greatness, which means they're at their best when their best is required. And then someone that's accountable, that we know we can count on them no matter what, they're always going to be there. And Johnathan is the guy. I mean, he's the first recipient of it. He'll be the guy that everybody's measured against for the rest of our time giving out that award. And I can't think of anyone that's more deserving and really a better representative of those values.
There's no better person to win our Bruin Force award than Johnathan, and that's why his jersey's up on the weight room. It'll be there forever. As long as we're here, that jersey's going to be up. That's something to be proud of. It's the first one to win that award.
My favorite moment, Johnathan, this year was in the Arizona game. We were beating them pretty soundly, and a backup walk-on running back named Melvin Emasibi scored. And Johnathan was standing next to me on the sideline. And before I could get my arms around him, he was down in the end zone. He knew it was going to be a 15-yard penalty. And at that time in the game, it didn't necessarily matter. It wasn't going to affect the outcome of the game. But he could not wait to get into the end zone to give Melvin a hug. You couldn't deny that moment. Like, that was a moment that's what college football is. It's just this unbridled passion and joy for the game and for your team and for your teammates. It was really cool.
Being selected the captain for this team is a blessing because it's the players vote for captain, and just to see the respect that my teammates have for me and the love that they have for me and the appreciation that they have, it's an amazing thing.
We vote on team captains up at San Bernardino, so we have 2 offensive captains, 2 defensive captains, and 2 special teams captains. It was never a question if he was going to be voted a captain by his teammates. It's just, what was the vote count going to be? It's just another example of what he meant and what he means and will always mean, I think, to this program. He's gone, but some of the things that he did and the legacy that he created, I think it's something that kids have to try to live up to now, and I think that's a good thing. I'm not saying they have to be Johnathan Franklin, but if they can have some of the same attributes that he has, then we have a chance to be a good program.
Johnathan possesses all the core characteristics that we're looking for in a young prospective student athlete, and he exhibits it all every day. He works hard, he's extremely competitive, he's a high character individual, he's tough, we can count on him, he doesn't have an ego, he's super humble. This is somebody that if we can line up 22 guys just like him every Saturday, we'd have a lot of success here for a really long time.
So I played my last game at the end of December. I believe it was December 31st for UCLA. Since then, I had an invitation to the Senior Bowl. It's one of the most prestigious bowl of all of them. The top seniors in the country is invited to the Senior Bowl. And I was able to go there and play there, and I played well, which was a blessing. And then I got my invitation to the NFL Combine. I went to the Combine, and from there, you have workouts with different NFL teams. They'll come out here, or you go to their town or to their city, and you visit with them, and you meet without the coaching staff. So I've been through that process.
No one's going to care what round he was drafted in once Sundays come around. It's going to be what you do on Sunday. That's what you're going to be evaluated on. It's a process. Every senior goes through it. You prepare for it all year round. Your whole senior year, you're preparing for it. Whether it's your junior timing day that you're doing in May is the first time they really start to get numbers on you. Scouts are in and out of here all year long, asking questions, watching tape, watching practice. So that process can be pretty draining on a player, understanding that he's constantly being evaluated. Only the strong ones really survive and come out of it on the other end, and he's done so.
Johnathan inspires people every day, and even though he's not present, we just went through spring practice, and he came out to about 3 practices, and when he came out on the field, I mean, you could just feel the energy pick up, because nobody wants to let him down. He set a standard, and that standard's going to remain, and I think that's a heck of a legacy for him.
All right now we at UCLA, working out with some guys that's entering the draft right now. We're working out with our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Solosi. We just got done running some sprints and just doing some movement, just keep our cardio up and get ready for camp. One day away. Today's Wednesday. Thursday is the first round. I'm anxious. I can't wait. You're watching Franklin's Playbook. Just leave a comment. I promise I'll get back to you. Just leave it right there. Just say hello. Anything, whatever you want to say. Just talk to me.